gets into sports like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
It is simply a gorgeous night in the middle of October in the city of Evansville. A great night to start the high school football sectionals. Good evening, everyone. I'm Adam Alexander along with Bill Barnett. In tonight's ball game, a contrast between the 8-0 Harrison Warriors. Tonight they play host to the 2-6 Bedford North Lawrence Stars. Should be a ball game where you would expect Harrison to come out and dominate, especially in the first half. Bedford's defense has struggled in the first couple of quarters throughout the season.
Well, not only Bedford's defense, Adam, but their offense has also struggled. Bedford, a team that's been outscored 70-6 this year in the first quarter of their football games, and I think their total first half output has been something like outscored 140-33. So the one thing as a former coach that comes to mind is Bedford North Lawrence really ready to play when they take the field, Adam?
Tonight, Bedford takes the field against a great Harrison team that does a lot of things nice offensively and defensively as well. It should be a ball game where you would expect Harrison to come out and dominate. Another thing that could be a factor, Bedford has had to travel a good distance before this ball game.
Well, travel always a factor, and certainly more of a factor in high school sports than it is in collegiate sports and higher levels as you move up. But about a 2.5-hour ride down by bus for the Bedford North Lawrence Stars. And in a playoff game, I would think the adrenaline would negate any effects that travel might have. But the record of the Stars, the fact that Harrison is coming off a great year, just a real tough chore tonight for the Bedford North Lawrence Stars to say in this football game, Adam.
Protect yourself against in-home emergencies for less than $1 a day with Life Alert's Emergency Response Care System. Protect yourself against medical emergencies.
Oh, I got a pain in my chest.
And the unexpected. With the Life Alert monitoring service, you just press a button on a small remote control. And without touching a telephone, you're virtually instantly in two-way contact with our 24-hour center.
It's only you have a problem there.
Oh, I've fallen and hurt myself.
Automatically, we know who you are, where you live, your complete medical history, and we summon the help you need fast for less than $1 a day. Get the facts free by mail right away. Call toll-free for free information.
Call 1-800-544-4443. That's 1-800-544-4443. Hospitals and other healthcare providers are welcome too. Call 1-800-544-4443.
I took diet pills. I lost 34 pounds.
6 months later, the weight came back.
That's when I decided to get off the diet roller coaster and get on a Nordic Track.
In fact, Nordic Track is so easy to stick with that after 5 years, 7 out of 10 Nordic Track owners still use their Nordic Track skiers an average of 3 times a week.
It's been more than 2 years. The weight's still off, and I'm still on my Nordic Track. You should give Nordic Track a try.
Call now for a free video and brochure. Take weight off and keep it off. Nordic Track introduces the Weight Loss Satisfaction Guarantee. Research shows that Nordic Track's total body workout burns more calories than exercisers that only work your legs. Discover what numerous customers have found. With regular exercise on Nordic Track, you can take weight off and keep it off. And we're so confident you'll lose weight too, we guarantee it. We'll guarantee that you'll lose at least 10 pounds in 60 days or your money back. Call now for a free video and brochure. Ask about our 60-day Weight Loss Satisfaction Guarantee.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Enlow Field, where tonight Evansville Harrison kicks off the sectionals, playing host tonight to the Bedford North Lawrence Stars. Of course, Bill Barnett and Adam Alexander are going to have all the play-by-play of tonight's ball game. It should be what we think. Harrison is no doubt the team that has to be favored here in the early going. But, Bill, a team that, as we said, coming off a big win last week, emotions play a lot, especially at the high school level. And it's going to be hard, I'm sure, for them to get up, knowing that Bedford comes in at 2-6 and having struggled all year long.
Well, it's a playoff game, Adam, and you never know what to expect. It's postseason play, and we're about ready to go.
Craig Stewart set to put his foot into this one as we are just about ready to get underway. Stewart takes a straight-on approach, doing it the old-fashioned way, the last of a dying breed, and his end-over-end kick is taken in down at about the 15-yard line, coming near side and being brought down out around the 25. Carrying the ball that time for Bedford is Robbie Allen.
Kickoff return by number 25.
Allen brought that one back 11 yards, and that's where Bedford North Lawrence will set up shop, and I'm sure they're happy to be on offense simply for the fact, Bill, that their defense has lacked in the early going this year, especially in the first quarter where they've been outscored 70-6 by opponents.
Well, it'll be real interesting to see if Bedford North Lawrence can go on a sustained drive here. Obviously, with the problems they've had this year, trick play, trick formation.
What in the world was that? Harrison reacts nicely, and apparently the formation was somewhat illegal because there was a flag thrown. But what was that, Bill?
Well, I think what we saw there was that Bedford North Lawrence did not huddle behind the football. And the first player out of the huddle was a center who came right to the football. The Bedford line then came straight out of the huddle up to the line. There were 3 backs deep. The ball was snapped. Let's see what the signal is.
We ran a play similar to that in high school, Bill, where you only had the quarterback, a running back, and a center right in front of the football, and then you sent several players to the left side. But that was somewhat bizarre and ended up not working as there was illegal procedure. And at this point in the season, you're going to see a team like Bedford, who is 2-6, pull out all the stops because they know they have nothing to hold back simply because a loss tonight ends the season for a club like this. Set now with 2 backs behind him, double tight end. For the quarterback, Brandon Buck, who gives up the middle and not much running room there. And so immediately second down and long for Bedford.
Well, let's take a look next time, Adam, as the Stars come up to the football. But it appeared that time, unless my eyes fooled me, that Bedford had an 8-man offensive line with only 3 offensive backs. But let's take a look at this second, and it looks like about 12.
They did send double tight ends. On one side, the right tight end is Sam Hayden, and the other side is Eric Bennett. Once again, double tights, this time a split backfield behind Buck, and this time over the left side the give, and not much running room there. And carrying the football is Billy Grogan. Grogan has been the big man all year offensively. He's a junior who did not play a lot early in the year, has come on here late in the season and leads them in rushing, Bill.
Well, again, I only noticed 3 Bedford North Lawrence Stars in the offensive backfield, and let's take a real close look here. They've got a quarterback, 2 split backs, everybody else on the offensive line.
Maybe they have the tight end on the far side. Is he possibly behind the line of scrimmage? They're going to pass, and this time bumped over there. They're going to say incomplete. Possibly could have been pass interference, but on 3rd down and long, Bedford fails, and they will have to punt it away after their first possession. So they tried to get tricky on the first play of the ball game. It goes to no avail, and thus they will have to punt after 3 downs and out.
Well, the tough thing about those trick plays, Adam, is you really don't practice them that often, and when you try to stick something like that in late in the season, why, obviously somebody amiss, and consequently what was supposed to be trickery ended up with a penalty.
Jonathan Lighton, who is normally punts for him. He's back to punt, and this time he gets the right foot into it, and it comes down. It's fumbled by Harrison, but recovered. That time nearly a big break for the Stars. A 30-yard punt, and that time on the receiving end of it, nearly losing it, was Jeremy Redd. So Redd about lost it, but he was able to recover it, and what a big break there that could have been for Bedford had they gotten on that football.
Eddie Allen takes the stop.
9:43 to play, and in the first 2.5 minutes, or 2 minutes and 17 seconds, Bedford could not move the football. And now a chance for Evansville Harrison, who is 8-0 on the year. They completed their season a year ago, right here on this field, beating Evansville Bosse, who also came in unbeaten. Bosse tonight in Vincennes to take on the Lincoln Alice's. And the first give of the game is right up the middle, and Chad Lamar has all kinds of room across the 50 and down to the 45-yard line, or 46-yard line. It will be a first down and 10. They moved the ball that time, Bill, and it looked like they didn't even need to try it. Just a nice hole over the right side. Very basic 13-yard gain.
What can you say about that? First play of the game, big hole in the right side of the line. First down of the football game. I'm sure a very relaxed coaching staff over there on that red sideline.
Harrison, as we said, coming in unbeaten, has had not much problems on the year. Here's the give of the left side this time, and all kinds of running room, breaking into the clear. And that time with the football is Kendall Wilson. He is one of the best rushers in the area. He did a nice job that time with the left side. He cut it back, picked up 22 on the play, and a great run that time for Wilson.
Ball's on the 25-yard line.
Well, another very important factor here, Adam. The first 2 times that the Harrison Warriors have touched the football, 2 first downs rushing, not at all a good sign for Bedford that's really just been crushed this year in the first quarter.
Here we go again. Another first down, 2 plays, 2 first downs, and here comes Harrison, this time on the counter play, and once again running room, and breaking up the middle this time for the Warriors is Sean Bennett. Bennett that time got the counter through the left side, and he lined up from his slot position, came over to get it, and he had running room over the left side. Once again, another first down. Harrison, not much trickery, but having no problem moving the football.
What number you got there, Adam, on Sean Bennett?
Bennett is 86 in my book here.
First and 10 from the 13-yard line.
So Lamar, Wilson, and Bennett have all carried for more than 10 yards on their first 3 plays from scrimmage. Thus 3 first downs and good plays. And here's a touchdown as Chad Lamar goes busting up the middle. A nice job play faking by Evansville Harrison. Keith Lander that time with a nice fake. They gave it to Lamar, and he busted up the middle for a touchdown. No problems that time for Harrison.
I don't think it's taken us too long here, Adam, to see what Bedford North Lawrence's problem has been this year. Their defensive line is not aggressive. They're not firing out. On the reverse while ago to number 86, Sean Bennett, there just wasn't much aggressiveness in part of the defense.
And now we will see the extra point try, trying to make it 7-0, and this time it's going to go wide right. So the extra point try is no good. Our score is 6-0.
The attempt for the extra point is no good.
Haven't even played 4 minutes. Harrison didn't get the ball to start the football game, but they are on top 6-0 and having no problems moving the football. And with that score, the Harrison crowd on their feet. Bedford North Lawrence fans few and far between tonight, Bill.
Well, what do we count before the game here, Adam? 25, and there's a few filing in, and probably in defense of the people from Bedford, they've had to travel 2.5 hours, and many of them may not have gotten off work until 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and by the time they stop and maybe grab a sandwich on the way, well, they're filing in. And Bedford's always had a very strong following at Bedford North Lawrence High School, and I'm sure we'll see a late arriving crowd here coming in from the north.
Craig Stewart, who missed the extra point, is on to kick off. Back deep for Bedford North Lawrence. The same 2 guys that were back there just a few minutes ago. Chris Wright is on the left side wearing number 5, and on the left side, or on the right side rather, Robbie Allen. He is the man who returned it 11 yards on the opening kickoff. Stewart will put his foot into it, and we will be underway once again. Evansville Harrison, a 6-0 leader with 8:20 to play in the first quarter. Harrison stopped Bedford 3 plays and out on the first drive of the football game. And then on 4 consecutive plays, got 3 first downs, and then on the 4th play, got a touchdown, and that's where they lead it 6-0. Mitch Marsh was concerned if his team would come out intense in this ball game, and why they might lack intensity, they haven't lacked ability to play the football game. They've already put a score on the board. We haven't even played 4 minutes. Stewart boots this one high and deep, this time to the left corner of the field, and Wright is the receiver this time. He's got not much room, and Harrison, with great coverage, shuts him down at around the 20-yard line.
Chris Wright returns the kickoff for Bedford North Lawrence.
Wright that time got about 10 yards on the return, and one thing that Stewart does, he hangs that kickoff up in the air and allows the coverage to get down and do a nice job covering for the Harrison Warriors.
The ball's on the 23-yard line.
The winner of this ball game will play a team from over in Castle. Castle takes on Floyd Central tonight. Those 2 teams battling as we speak. And there's another game where probably be a lot closer than this one, but should be a good one. Opening round sectional there. Here's the give up the middle. Not much running room once again.
Grogan on the carry.
And Grogan is the ball carrier. Grogan, who is the main carrier for this Bedford North Lawrence Ball Club, has not had much to carry here in the early going, Bill.
Not much room for Grogan this evening. Coming into tonight's football game in 8 games for the 2-6 Bedford North Lawrence Stars, Billy Grogan, 580 yards and 6 touchdowns on the year.
We'll see what they elect to do here. 2nd down and 8.5. We'll call it 2nd down and 9. Buck under center, and this time the give to the deep back, and Grogan this time scrambles free and gets out across the 30-yard line. And there you see a sign as to why he is their best back, Bill, because second effort that time got him about 5 extra yards.
Well, Adam, you have to hand it to Grogan because he's not exactly running behind the best offensive line in Indiana high school football. The kid's gained 580 yards on the year, and he's not been given a big hole from that offensive front this evening, and about third and a long one here for Bedford North Lawrence.
Well, if you're looking for something to do after the ball game, several pretty women here from Bedford. And Lawrence County, as Bill and I talked about before the ball game, an area where there are all kinds of beautiful women, Bill. We talked about that, didn't we?
I think something was said to that effect, Adam. I used to coach up in that part of the country, and as we look down on the field right now, why there certainly are some distractions very close at hand.
It's nice atmosphere on a cool evening at Enlow Field.
It might be a pretty nice atmosphere, and the air might be cool, Adam, but it's pretty warm up here in the booth.
And in fact, tonight, sometimes it helps to set the scene for our fans. We are not actually in the press box, if you can visualize Enlow Field. We are across on the visitors' side. Of course, these accommodations made from the game that was played here a week ago when Harrison and Bosse played here. This time on third down, they're going to try to pass, and the ball is knocked away. And that time, the man was in the flat, but that time just overshot him, Bill.
Well, it hit him right in the hands. Was not particularly a wonderful pass, and perhaps the weather might have come into play there a little bit, because I can imagine those receivers out there. This is a rather crisp evening, and the ball did come out, hit Bedford North Lawrence's number 15, Jared Williams, there right in the hands, but he couldn't hang on. It wasn't really a perfect spiral. It was a rather wobbly pass and incomplete, and it looks like fourth and what do we got out there, Adam? About 6 or 7 yards for Bedford North Lawrence.
It would appear. Once again, back to punt is Jonathan Lighton, who gets this one away. A nice high, somewhat of a knuckleball kick, going to be taken in by Bennett, and he takes it in just outside the 45-yard line at about the 47. You had mentioned the incomplete pass, and actually that went to Brandon Westner, so he was the one on the intended end of that buck pass that got away from him. And so once again, Harrison sets up shop just outside of midfield, where they will once again have an opportunity to, would appear, to put some points on the board very quickly. They've been very successful in the early going. Evansville Harrison, of course, heads into the ball game, led by Mitch Marsh, their coach. And here's a pass on the left side. And on the breakaway is Bennett, who gets out of bounds on the star sideline. And they run him back out on the field. A slip screen that time. What they do is they set double wide receivers up to the left. The twin set. One receiver blocks the cornerback on the other, and the other receiver catches the ball, if you can understand what I just said. Called a slip screen in most offensive settings. We're not sure how Harrison refers to it. This time an eye backfield. Wide to the right side is Kendall Wilson. Wilson, of course, handling the kicking duties tonight as well. Actually, Craig Stewart is the man on the right side. Here's Chad Lamar, stopped in the backfield, and that time good defense. And coming through from his linebacker position for Bedford North Lawrence is Nathan Woodward. Woodward that time saw Lamar bounce off the initial tackler, and he got in the backfield and did a nice job defensively.
Well, the first time that we've also seen Bedford North Lawrence fire out into the offensive backfield and stop the Warriors for a loss, as number 41 there, Chad Lamar, was dropped for about a 3-yard loss, and the first time we've seen Bedford in the Harrison backfield.
Sets up a third down and about 5, maybe 4, if you're looking optimistically. Here's the fake give up the middle, a pass, and over the middle, wide open Lamar. He breaks into the open field and knocked out of bounds. No, he stayed in bounds. He'll go for his second touchdown of the ball game. Keith Lander that time really sold the play action and found Lamar wide open, covering 46 yards in the second Harrison score of the game. So 5:33 to play in the first quarter. Bedford North Lawrence has had the ball for 6 plays. Evansville Harrison has had it for 7, but 2 of those 7 plays for Evansville Harrison have went for touchdowns, and a chance now, it looks like they'll go for 2, maybe to make it 14-0.
Hard to establish a sustained drive when you're gaining anywhere from 10 to 46 yards on virtually every time you touch the ball.
Harrison's got first downs on their first 3 plays from scrimmage. Didn't pick up much yardage, and that time busting through and scoring on the extra point is Kendall Wilson. So that'll be 2 points. It's 14-0, and once again the kickoff team is out for Harrison, the kick return team for Bedford North Lawrence. So Evansville Harrison is on top of things in the early going. How fitting noting that Evansville Harrison has the Michigan fight song, the way they're playing tonight. Of course, the Wolverines establishing themselves as a football powerhouse in the Midwest, and obviously doing a great job this year. Last week going to Happy Valley and beating Penn State.
Adam, how would you like to coach a football team that in the first quarter of your 9th game, you've just been outscored on the year in the first quarter now, 84-6.
And this first quarter is not over yet, Bill. The way Harrison has put points on the board and the lack of ability to move the ball for Bedford North Lawrence, it wouldn't surprise me to see one more go up before this first quarter expires.
Well, please don't think that I'm being at all critical of Coach Dave Conrad of Bedford North Lawrence, because we all know what it's like, people who've been involved in coaching, to coach athletic teams that do suffer from a lack of success, and I'm sure it's as equally demoralizing to the players and coaching staff from Bedford North Lawrence.
Craig Stewart once again sends one deep. This one is going to bounce and go through the end zone. So Stewart got a nice leg into that one. And we also talked about, Bill, while the teams make their way on offensively and defensively. We talked about before the ball game how hard it is in that part of the state to be successful in football, because in a place like Evansville, if you've grown up here all your life, chances are your father played at Harrison or he played in this area, and so you have a reason to grow up and want to play high school football. Bedford, on the other hand, so many small communities now have consolidated and made that big high school that a lot of these kids are playing football for the first generation, and that obviously makes a difference.
Well, there's certainly, and we're not being critical of Bedford, but there is a lack of football tradition there in what's usually considered to be a big basketball school.
Grogan carries over the left side, and he has probably 3 or 4 out near the 25-yard line and make it the 26. You talk about basketball at Bedford North Lawrence, and of course the first name that comes to mind is the IU star Damon Bailey. And of course, speaking of basketball, I know, Bill, you're a college basketball fan, and basketball just around the corner, believe it or not. Once again, double tight ends in a I backfield, and they're really tight behind Buck, the quarterback, on 2nd down and 4. Buck this time the give to Grogan again, and Grogan this time stopped at the line of scrimmage and pushed back the other way, so it'll set up once again a 3rd down situation. And Bedford, who started off the ball game with a trick play and tried to set the center on the ball, the rest of the team was set off to the left, have not tried anything tricky since. They did try to pass the ball once. It was incomplete, but other than that, not much success on the ground or in the air for Bedford North Lawrence.
Well, Bedford North Lawrence, once again, operating with only 2 running backs, a quarterback in the backfield, and an 8-man offensive line. Certainly a different look, and it's a look that if you're going to line up in that kind of a formation with 4 offensive blockers right of center, you better control the line of scrimmage, and that's something that the Stars simply have not done this evening.
3rd down and a short one, and Grogan this time carries for the first down on the left side. So for the first time on the night, Bedford has picked up a first down, and that one came by Grogan, and there's no doubt who they're going to go to offensively. Grogan is the man. How many carries does he have, Bill?
Well, he's got 6 carries on the evening for 15 yards, and he's also the only Bedford North Lawrence player to touch the ball in terms of a running game.
Once again, Buck under center. He will run this offense, and once again, Grogan the ball carrier, and this time he's got some more running room. So it would appear that this Bedford North Lawrence line has gotten motivated a little bit, because they're not doing anything tricky. They're just simply giving the ball up the middle, but this time Bedford seems to be moving some things in that interior line area.
Well, maybe I motivated them, Adam, because as soon as I said that they have not established that they can dominate the line of scrimmage while they get their first down of the game, and then another 6-yard carry for Billy Grogan. So let's see what the Stars have got in store for us right here.
About a 6-yard carry, Grogan up the middle again, and he's out across the 40-yard line, maybe to the 41, and he will be close to first down yardage. It would appear that he will be short by about a yard. And what looked like it would be a runaway from the beginning, now it would see Bedford North Lawrence moving the ball. And, you know, even though they're moving the ball, they're not near scoring. And obviously at this point you can't say they're going to be in the ball game. But, Bill, the surprises do happen. And, you know, last night we saw a surprise, and maybe not a surprise to most people, but record-wise sometimes can be deceiving. Mater Dei coming in at 1-7 thumped North Posey, who was 7-1 on the year. And once again, it's a give up the middle, and this time Wright is the ball carrier, and he's stopped behind the line of scrimmage. They say forward progress got him out near a first down. So they'll wait for a measurement. No, a first down. So momentum carried him despite them wrapping him up, and that's the third time they've gotten a first down, or is that the second time, Bill? Is that the second or third first down?
I've got it unofficially as their second first down, and a little bit of an observation. If you look at Bedford North Lawrence come up here to the line of scrimmage, their offensive line's not very big, Adam.
And as you mentioned before we went on the air, Bill, is that you had made an observation. They have shifted some tackles around and maybe playing 3 tackles, a guard and a center, just simply because they've had to make some moves and some changes. And once again, Grogan carries, and he's got room out over the 45-yard line to about the 46. And they are moving the ball very successfully, doing it on the ground. Nothing really technically different, just simply getting the job done this time.
Well, I think I see now what they've done in order to improve their blocking, Adam. They've moved an offensive guard to center. They're starting an additional tackle, so they're starting 3 guards and 3 tackles in that 8-man line.
Of course, double tight ends. And this time a split backfield, and they give over the right side to Grogan, and he's fighting out across the 50-yard line and down inside Harrison territory. Near another first down, I believe he'll be short by about a half a yard. So they've been averaging about 4 yards or 4.5 yards a pop and falling about a yard short of first down territory. On third down, they will have another 3rd down and 1 here. They've been successful on their last 2.
Once again, Adam, someone watching our broadcast here might think that I've lost my mind. I said they're starting 3 guards and 3 tackles. They've moved an offensive guard to center this evening, so they are starting 3 guards, an additional offensive lineman, which makes 3 tackles.
Here's the give over the left side, and Wright again the ball carrier, and he once again has first down yardage. So after the first offensive play of the ball game was not successful due to a penalty, Bedford North Lawrence in this 3rd series here has picked things up. They moved the ball down into Harrison territory, and if nothing else, Bill, they're creating a situation where, hey, they've got them pinned back now. If they punt the ball, Harrison's not going to get the ball at midfield. They're going to get it deep in their own territory, make them earn a score this time. Harrison obviously not looking for the pass. All of their defensive players are brought up close, and Grogan this time busts across the line for about 5 more.
Kelly Grogan carries for Bedford.
So Kelly Grogan is beginning to roll up rush yards. That time he had the ball over the right side, and it's been interesting to see how this team has improved. And on the night now, I called him Kelly Grogan. His name is Billy Grogan, as Bill corrects me on paper here in front of us. I've got a cheat sheet, and I still got the kid's name wrong. About a 4-yard gain will set up 2nd down and 6, and that's where Buck tucks under center, and once again, to no surprise, Grogan has the ball on the left side, and once again, he's out near first down yardage. So they have been doing a great job running the football here, and will be close to another first down as they are inside the 40-yard line. It will be 3rd down and right at a yard, and timeout is called. So, actually, that's the end of the first quarter. So our score, a very dominated game in the early going for Harrison. Bedford North Lawrence now coming on. Our score, Harrison 14, Bedford nothing, and we're back after this word on TSN.
Success in life is the result of preparation and having the right tools. To become the person you've always wanted to be, select Nordic Flex Gold. You provide the effort, and Nordic Flex Gold provides the means to your personal success. You want to develop the poise, confidence, and energy that come from a strong, toned body. And like these people, you can have that body in just 12 weeks with Nordic Flex Gold. Some people spend a lifetime wishing for a great body. Now with Nordic Flex Gold, you can unlock your potential in as little as 12 weeks. Nordic Flex Gold features linear motion and a patented isokinetic, providing results faster and more efficiently than with other strength training systems. Now is the time to act. Great muscle tone, accelerated fat loss, increased energy, as well as poise and confidence can all be yours in just 12 weeks with Nordic Flex Gold. To order or for more information, call now.
There was a time I had trouble getting around. I had to depend on others to help me. Now it feels great to have independence with a rascal scooter from Electric Mobility.
If you or someone you know needs low-cost personal transportation, call this number for a free catalog on Roscoe 3- and 4-wheel electric scooters. The Rascal is so easy to operate, you can control it with just one hand. Plus, your Rascal is portable with a unique take-apart frame. Take advantage of our money-saving offers, easy payment plan, free test ride, and see if you qualify for partial or, in some cases, full medical insurance reimbursement.
Call for a free catalog and to learn about our money-saving offers. You can even arrange a free, no-obligation test ride. Call toll-free 1-800-543-5200. 1-800-543-5200. Call now, 1-800-543-5200.
Well, welcome back, everyone. A chilly night at Enlow Field where the Harrison Warriors dominated early. They got a pair of touchdowns on their first two possessions. They have not yet seen the ball for a third time because Bedford North Lawrence, now on their third possession, has shown signs of moving the ball. Their first two possessions were 3 and out, but now the Stars have put the ball on the ground, and thanks to Billy Grogan, they've got another first down, it would appear. So, Bill, they're doing a great job at moving the football this time.
Well, Harrison jumped out to a very quick 14-0 lead, and they're kind of relaxed right now. They're allowing Bedford to move the ball right down the field. This is this sustained drive that Bedford has missed early in the year, or really throughout the entire year, early in games. And even tonight, they waited until almost the second quarter before they moved the football. As we mentioned earlier, they've fallen to an 84-6 deficit this year in first quarter scoring. But here at the start of the second quarter, they just got another first down. Their fourth first down rushing on the evening. So Bedford has now established they can move the football. And even though the Stars may be 2-6 on the year, Adam, we may see a football game yet this evening.
And they're doing such a nice job, and it's not like it's like we said, Bill, so many times you'll see a team like Bedford at 2-6 come out and throw some surprise plays at you, and they stay in it early simply because they're doing things that they don't normally do. Bedford not doing that in the early going, with the exception of that first play of the game. They've been very simple, running off tackle to tackle and just simply getting the job done in the trenches. Here they go on first down. They fake to Grogan, and Buck throws off the right side. He had a man, but he overshot him. And Buck was lit up in the backfield. And that time breaking through was Bennett. So Bennett, who is also a good receiver on the offensive side, that time lit up Buck. And that time they did a nice job selling the play fake after running the ball so successfully to set up the pass.
Bedford North Lawrence shuttling plays in from Coach Dave Conrad here with 15 Brandon Wessner and 32 Michael Stoltz alternating on every play. So all the plays definitely coming in from the bench here for Bedford North Lawrence.
We'll see what they do on second down and 10. Grogan, the carry over the left side, off tackle. He's got about 3 or 4 yards down to about the 30-yard line. We'll call it the 32 as he did not get to the 30. Grogan has really continued to roll up the numbers. He's got a lot of carries simply because he's been the main man offensively, but he's starting now to roll up some yardage as well. Grogan only a junior, and of course with a quarterback that is a sophomore in Buck, that bodes well for the future of this ball club. See what they do on third down and long here. They fake off the left side, run the option, and Buck is wrapped up in the backfield and is going to be knocked down short of what he was trying to get to the first down, and this might be 4-down territory for Bedford. We'll wait and see. It is going to be fourth down and probably about 6 to go here. Bedford would appear to be going for it.
Took the words right out of my mouth here, Adam. Harrison, a team that's established that they can both move the football and also crack the big play. Bedford North Lawrence down to about the 33-yard line. Fourth and what we got here, about 7?
Fourth and about 7 to go. They set up the same offensive set that they had the entire game, and it would appear to have been motion there, and there is. Buck throws the ball. It's going to fall short. But there was a flag on the play.
Buck's pass is incomplete, but we have a flag on the play.
And so let's see who that's on. I think there was movement on that offensive line.
Procedure against Bedford is the preliminary call.
I believe there won't be an option to take the penalty here. I think they have to take it. No, they say decline. I thought that stopped the clock, and I thought it was a dead ball, but apparently not.
No, that violation there occurred right at the snap. The sign was not illegal procedure, which would have killed the clock. Illegal procedure inside the line. The signal given by the referee indicated illegal movement at the snap by an offensive back. So we've got the football turning over now to Harrison. 1st and 10. Looks like about their own 33-yard line.
Bedford, though, is something to be excited about because they did touch the ball and were successful offensively. The Harrison defense would have appeared to quit on that last series. Let's see how the offense reacts, having been successful all night long. Here's the give with the left side, and Bennett is flipped up in the air and is stopped as he crosses the 35-yard line. He got out to about the 38. That, once again, a play that picked him up a first down earlier when they ran that counter play through the offensive line.
Gain of 4, it'll be 2nd and 6.
9:35 to play in the second quarter. Along with Bill Barnett, I'm Adam Alexander. It's been a ball game to this point that has been dominated by Evansville Harrison, although Bedford North Lawrence picked up a lot of yardage on that last drive. Here's a fumble, and it appeared that Harrison got it back. Chad Lamar coughed it up, and after a good run out near first down yardage, but then he coughed it up, and Kendall Wilson, the man who fell on it, I believe.
Kendall Wilson recovers the fumble for the Warriors.
So what would have appeared to be a gain out near first down yardage fumbled back to about the 40, and that's why Harrison will have it on third down. The Warriors this time set up with a slot left in Bennett. Lamar and Wilson behind the quarterback. Here's the give to Wilson. He hits the hole hard and is out across the, or out near the 45-yard line, and it appeared has a first down there.
Adam, sorry for growing a little silent on you there. I'm trying to decipher these numbers on this football program for this evening, and if these names and numbers, heights and weights were any smaller, we'd need a magnifying glass up here, because this is maybe this is part of the puzzle. They thought the football game would get boring, so we can just have fun trying to decipher these tiny names and numbers.
That could be, because it is obviously hard to read the names, usually not even in a type form. Here's Kendall Wilson breaking into the open field. Look out, he's got running room. He's down inside the 30 and knocked down at about the 26-yard line. He got free on the right side and didn't let anybody stop him until he got down inside the 30. And that's one thing about Harrison. They obviously have more quickness, and at times they're going to be a big team, a big play team. He picked up 29 yards on the carry. And a nice run there by Kendall Wilson, who got down inside the 30-yard line. It'll be first down and 10 for Harrison.
Over again, it'll be 1st and 10. The ball's on the 27-yard line.
We talked before the ball game, not on air, but briefly before we went on air, Bill and I talked about this Harrison team and how they really don't have a player who dominates. You talk about some of the other teams in the area, and usually a successful team has got an outstanding player. Harrison has got several individuals, and there's Kendall Wilson on a great pass to Chad Lamar, and he's down inside the 5-yard line. I believe, did they call that an incomplete pass?
Keith Lander's pass to Chad Lamar is complete.
Well, they called it a complete pass. I thought the official might have signaled incomplete there as he went down to mark it around what it would appear to be the 7-yard line is where he went out of bounds. And it's all going to be called back apparently by a penalty. What happened there? I thought it was a complete pass.
I don't know what happened there, Adam. It appeared to be a complete pass. He caught that ball well inside.
An incomplete pass.
This is a mystery to me. Also a mystery to the officials, who now appear to be moving the football back to the spot.
Correction, the pass was completed and he was knocked out of bounds.
Well, some obvious confusion, not only on our part, but the officials with some confusion as well. And it will be a first down and 10, and first down and goal, rather, from the 10-yard line.
By J.J. Litton.
Well, maybe they're going to be able to get a first down.
1st and 10 Warriors.
So it will be a first down and 10. The ball is on the 11. They can get to about the half-yard line, or about the 1-foot line, and they will get a first down. So more than likely, they have to put it in the end zone. Here's Kendall Wilson up the middle.
Kendall Wilson on the carry.
So a surprising play there as the officials communicated and finally made the decision. I think there was one official who knew it was complete, and the rest of them thought it was an incomplete pass. For what reason, I don't know. We do have some obstruction here that I could not see completely clear, but I thought for sure the kid caught the ball, and indeed he did, and that's why it is second down now and about 8 yards to go, about 8.5 yards to go for a touchdown. Here's Lamar up the middle, bouncing off tackles and breaking down inside the 5-yard line. Forgive us if we can't give you the best play-by-play from this area, but it's simply because it's hard to tell exactly where the football is. The ball now down at about the 3-yard line, where it will be third down. And about 3 to go. 14-0 our score. Evansville Harrison got a pair of touchdowns in the first quarter. Bedford North Lawrence put an outstanding drive together late in the first and early in the second before turning it over to Downs. And now Evansville Harrison, with a couple of big plays, is right back in scoring position again. And that time they fall just short. No, a touchdown. Kendall Wilson got in. No, I thought the official signaled. Now, I'll tell you, once again, the players thought that time he didn't get in, but the official signaled. Indeed, it's another touchdown. So after Bedford mounted an outstanding drive, Harrison answers right back, and they're on the board again to make it a 20-0 ball game. And a new kicker in the ball game now. And doing the extra point try this time as we check our roster, a new face. You have to check it closely here. As we said, these names are somewhat of a mystery if you don't get it up close. Zachary Hamby, I believe, is the man who will try it, number 19. He's a soccer-style kicker, and he splits the uprights. So Hamby knocks it good. And it's a 21-0 score. So Evansville Harrison right on top of things in the early going. The Evansville Harrison defense gave up some big yards to Bedford the last time around, but the offense has responded, and it's a 21-0 ball game as we near the halfway point of this second quarter. 6:33 remains. Once again, that fight song reminiscent of days in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the Wolverines carry the same fight song as Evansville Harrison. Bill, we commented on the fact that Bedford North Lawrence didn't bring a lot of fans tonight. Now, that's somewhat disappointing when you consider that it is the high school level and you expect to have some support no matter how far away you are. And the fans have filed in, and so in fact the situation now is not as bad as what it was. But I'll tell you, I don't know if I knew it was going to get down in the 30s before this ball game was over. If I'd drive 2.5 hours to watch a team like Bedford, who obviously is struggling to play football, it's just been a bad night so far.
Well, it may be a little bit of a bad night for us up here, if you want to call this a booth, up here on this platform. It's a little chilly, but it's really a bad night right now for the Bedford North Lawrence fans, and even a worse night for the players and coaches.
Craig Stewart once again to put his foot into it. The kickoff team has got a lot of practice tonight, and this high, deep kick going to be taken in down at about the 10-yard line. And running room, look out, he's going to break it. On the left sideline, breaking it down inside Harrison territory and finally knocked out of bounds. The kicker made a game-saving tackle. It was Robbie Allen who broke it back, and from the very beginning there was a seam there, Bill. About a 60-yard return, no, 47-yard return. He took it in at about the 10-yard line or so and brought it back inside Harrison territory. And indeed, right at a 47-yard return. I questioned Bill's math for a minute, but then he quickly let me know that he was not wrong. If you think Bill Barnett just sets up here and adds color comments every once in a while, you're wrong. He does some outstanding statistics throughout the ball game. Here's Grogan over the left side with some running room. And this is the kind of thing that gives a team momentum. The only thing I question, Bill, especially being down 3 touchdowns, it's going to be hard for Bedford to get back into it just simply because it takes them so long to get a drive and to get a score on the board, because all they do is run the football.
Well, there's no question, in order to put scores on the board, they're going to have to open up the offense, split somebody wide. They're going to have to throw the football a little bit, but after a 2-6 season, I really don't know. I'm not a football coach, so I won't second-guess anyone.
Here's Grogan over the right side. He lost the football. It's fumbled, and it would appear that Evansville Harrison has it. And the official, we await his signal, and indeed it's Evansville Harrison football. So after an outstanding return on the kickoff by Robbie Allen, Harrison has it once again. The first turnover of the football game there. And definitely disappointment for Bedford North Lawrence. So Evansville Harrison has the ball back, this time starting at their own 40-yard line, where they will try to push it 60 yards and try to get in the end zone for the 4th time in tonight's contest.
Ball's on the 40-yard line.
It's been a pretty simple game plan for Coach Mitch Marsh and his crew, who have really not taken away from the regular offense to run any trick plays. They've really just come out and done exactly what we thought they would do. Here's a pass play. Keith Lander throws it down the right sideline. He's got a man, and it's hauled in. And down inside the 25-yard line, making the grab that time for Harrison, is Matt Elliott. So Elliott on the receiving end of a Keith Lander's pass, and Lander looked pretty good on the 38-yard gain.
Well, that was a beautiful pass, and I think we can notice a couple of things here about the Harrison Warriors, Adam. First of all, beautiful timing and footwork and handoffs out of the quarterback, Keith Lander. Just excellent execution in the backfield. And the second thing, Keith Lander's very quick. He got away from a would-be tackler there and then threw the ball for a beautiful 38-yard gain.
Lander is not a bad passer. In fact, he's one of the top 4 in the city. Here's the give with the left side. Breaking left is Wilson. And Kendall Wilson goes to the corner, and he's in for another score, and it's starting to get ugly at Enlow Field. We don't mean to sound not excited. We didn't come in wanting Bedford North Lawrence to win or something like that. It's just a situation where when you make it look so easy, it gets a little old after a while.
Well, on that touchdown run there by Kendall Wilson, that was the 11th first down for Harrison. 8 of them on the ground, 3 by passing, to 4 first downs by Bedford North Lawrence. And all 4 Bedford North Lawrence first downs were on that one sustained drive that they did achieve there early here in this second quarter.
The extra point attempt, number 19, Zach Hamby.
Zach Hamby going to get his second chance at it here, and he puts it through again. So it's 28-0 now with 4:54 to play. Harrison dominating in the early going. I played on a football team in high school, Bill, at North Central in Indianapolis. And when I was a sophomore in high school, our 3rd football game of the season was played against Ben Davis. And that was the year that Ben Davis had a guy like Tank Adams, Scott McGowan, an outstanding quarterback, some great offensive linemen. In fact, they had 3 players that were all-state, not only on offense, but on defense as well. They ended up being, at the end of the year, ranked number 6 in the country. They came to our place and were up 35-0 at halftime. And that's about the worst I've ever seen. And unfortunately, I was a part of it. And tonight, it's already 28-0, and still plenty of time for Harrison to put something up once more here in this first half.
Well, I would have to say about one more Harrison score. And once we get into that second half, you're probably going to see a lot of fresh jerseys on the field for the Harrison Warriors, because you certainly wouldn't want to take any chances on key injuries here in a game once the score does get out of hand.
Harrison, as we said, will take on the winner of Floyd Central and Castle, who are doing battle tonight over in Newburgh. Of course, there are some other games in the area tonight, and we will get to that later on. Stewart this time sends it down to about the 14-yard line. Taken in there by Wright, and Wright simply slips to the turf this time at the 25, but it appeared that he had some running room had he been able to keep his footing. So it'll be first down and 10 for Bedford, deep in their own territory.
Well, something one of the Bedford bench personnel mentioned before the game is that this field, and we saw it come into play right there on the return by Chris, was it Chris Wright or Robbie Allen there, Adam?
Chris Wright.
The grassy areas of the field are slick.
And, of course, the middle of the field has simply no grass because, you know, you talk about these fields in Evansville, and coaches that come here probably not that happy, but these fields in Evansville aren't poorly taken care of. It's simply that there's a game here every week, and, of course, with JV and freshman games as well, you have to have a place to play, and there are only 3 stadiums in the city, really, that you can play football on at a high school level. And so Evansville Wrights, Evansville Central, and, of course, here at Enlow Field at Bossy High School, the field's just, it's not there's poor taken care of. It's just simply that it's so hard to keep uptake on a field when they're played on as often as they are. Buck that time breaks it to the right side, and he's wrestled down. And making the tackle for Harrison there is
Chad Lamar makes the tackle.
Chad Lamar.
Well, one thing we don't want to be critical of the Evansville-Vandenberg School Corporation here, because I'm sure their people do the very best they can in caring for these fields. And also there have been some games this year played in the rain, which would have torn up the turf even worse. But I think we can point out a definite need for more football fields in Evansville.
Of course, the proposal has been in, and many people think that there will be a football field built over at Harrison High School. Chris Wright that time makes a nice catch. He's going to come up short of the first down, but a nice job on the option to make the catch. Getting back to our conversation, though, a lot of people say that Harrison's going to get a football field, and I don't know how many football teams in the state of Indiana at the 5A level that don't have their own field. So Evansville Harrison, they say, is going to build a stadium, and you would have to believe if you're a 5A school, especially as good as athletics is at Evansville Harrison, they will be building a field that will be probably a 10,000-seat stadium. It would probably not be smart to build one any smaller than that, simply because the attraction for fans is going to be good at this level. Here's the punt taken in, and Bennett lost it, and he falls on it. Actually, that wasn't Bennett. Taking the ball in that time was Matthew Elliott. We saw Bennett drop a punt earlier.
Jeremy Red.
And I'm wrong again. Jeremy Red is the man there. He lost the punt.
Adam, about a 32-yard kick there for Bedford North Lawrence. Their third punt on the evening for an average of just over 30 yards a kick. So what we've seen out of most of these high school kickers of the several teams that we have seen this year, Adam, we've yet to see an outstanding kicker. Most kickers almost right on the money, around anywhere from 29 to 32, 33 yards. We just haven't seen a thunderfoot here in the southwestern Indiana area.
Here's a pass down the right sideline, simply dropped. What a beautiful pass by Keith Landers. He laid it right in the hands of Sean Bennett, and Bennett just couldn't hang on. I mean, that was a great pass.
I'll correct you there a little. Or was that Sean Bennett? Here I'm again once with our miniature letters here on our program. Yes, that was Sean Bennett. It hit him right in the hands, and there's nobody in this football stadium that feels any worse right now than Sean Bennett. But it does bring up a good time to point out how strong Harrison's passing attack has been tonight. They're now 4 for 5 for 109 yards.
And they haven't thrown the ball, only 5 times, but they've been doing a nice job when they have. The run has helped set it up. They've been very successful on the ground. 2nd down and 10. We're winding down in the first half. Harrison a 28-0 leader. Here they come with the right side. Kendall Wilson's got some running room. Nearing the 2-minute mark in this first half.
Makes the initial hit for Bedford.
Another touchdown on the board, and I would say it's probably one of the worst halftime scores I've seen in some time at the high school level. Oh, I'm sure there's been worse. Some good competition going on around the city tonight. Wrights is at home. They are taking on New Albany. Wrights has been the center of some injuries here in the late going this year. Getting back to that kicker comment you made, Bill, the one guy that we did see is the kid from Evansville, Bossy. And I can't remember his name. If you remember the kid from Bossy who had a pretty good game against Evansville Wrights. Here's a pass down the middle, and getting there and bringing it in is Kendall Wilson. A great pass again from Lander, and Lander's laying it in tonight. Kendall Wilson came from his running back position, took it down inside the 10-yard line, a pass play covering 51 yards, and it's been simply amazing how Evansville Harrison has controlled the ball game tonight. They've got it now. It looks like to be 1st down and 10 at about the 12-yard line.
10 Warriors, the ball's on the 13-yard line.
Well, we keep going backwards. We credit him with about 51 yards initially on that pass play, and then when we saw the ball spotted, it looked like it was on the 12, so that would make it a 50, and now the announcers put the ball on the 13, so let's officially credit him with 49 yards on that play. But regardless of the yardage gained, it was a beautiful, beautiful pass by Keith Lander, and Kendall Wilson gathered that thing in, and certainly very, very few flaws tonight in the Harrison passing game. And although we mentioned before the game, Adam, that there weren't any really what you'd call great players for Harrison, I'll tell you, if these kids aren't great, they're pretty darn good.
They've done a nice job, and I've been very impressed with Keith Lander, who has got a good arm. He doesn't look to be a big kid at quarterback, but he can really wing it. We saw him throw a nice pass downfield to Landers on the run, and they're, of course, throwing a pass to Chad Lamar, rather, on the run, and they're, of course, hitting Wilson down the middle. But he's doing a nice job tonight running this offense, both pass and run, and he's a kid who is versatile enough as an athlete. He can run the option as well. This time they send twin receivers to the left side. Lamar and Wilson stacked behind Landers. And Chad Lamar has the ball at the middle, and he's going to go for 6 more.
Chad Lamar, good for a touchdown.
His 3rd touchdown of the night, make it 34-0, and Evansville Harrison simply has come to play tonight. Mitch Marsh wondered if they'd be intense enough. Well, if they're not intense enough, I'd hate to see them when they're intense, because they've been on top of it tonight.
Well, it's hard to tell whether they're intense here because the runners really haven't had to run into anybody. A lot of their running plays that have broken for long yardage or for scores, they've simply gone untouched. So I guess what we can really cite here is wonderful execution tonight on the part of Harrison High School.
Zach Lambie once again to try the extra point, and his third of the night once again is right down the middle and good. So it's a 35-0 ball game. Evansville Harrison has dominated Bedford North Lawrence in the early going. 1:19 to play. Evansville Harrison probably will go to the locker room with this halftime lead. Bedford has only turned the ball over once tonight. It's just been, and when you think back to the one drive that Bedford put together, you have to believe that that was a gift because, Bill, if they hadn't moved the ball so well that time, they probably ran 8 or 9 minutes off the clock on that drive. And if they, I mean, you think about what Evansville Harrison could have done with this offense as quick as they've been striking with another 8 or 9 minutes. I mean, we're talking maybe 50 points at halftime.
Well, you know, Adam, we don't have the benefit of instant replay or having any spotters help us out up here, but a couple of things that entered my mind about that one march that Bedford North Lawrence went on. And I question, first of all, who did Harrison have on the field defensively? Did they have all their starters? Because they may have, in order to keep some of their starters fresh, etc., they may have run some second-line defensive players out there on the field. So perhaps Bedford moved the ball, you know, on some kids that wouldn't ordinarily have been on the field that early in the game. So that's just simply a question. But secondly, Bedford's offensive set is unusual, and perhaps they demonstrated a blocking scheme that simply Harrison wasn't prepared for, and at that point they moved the ball, but now Harrison has adjusted.
Stewart set to kick off again, and they do somewhat of an onside kick this time. It's going to roll out of bounds.
Well, when you go for an onside kick up 35-0, that's just like going for the juggler.
I would say. Of course, last week, Coach Mitch Marsh started off the game with Bossy with an onside kick, and that's what got the ball rolling for them and success to the victory number 8 on the year. But sometimes, Bill, you have to look at it as a learning situation, although they might not need it tonight, but maybe later in the year they would need that. And so you have to wonder if maybe they're just not preparing for the future and knowing it's not going to hurt them to give up good field position here. I mean, you have to believe that's what he was thinking. You have to look at it from the standpoint he's looking to the future and not trying to simply walk all over a Bedford North Lawrence team tonight.
Well, I wouldn't think there'd be any harsh feelings, although Bedford North Lawrence has had some postseason success against Harrison in the past. But we can correct our mistake of a couple of games ago, and Adam, the ball is now on the 35 following the kickoff out of bounds.
That's where Bedford North Lawrence will begin, and a different set here as they open things up. They send twin receivers to the left and right, and they will pass. Here's Buck back on first down. He's got a man, and Ray is out here in the flat, makes a move and gets free and breaks it inside Harrison territory. So that time the catch brought in by Gary Ray. And so once we saw all they did was run the ball, tackle to tackle, now they come out with a wide open set, and this is a team that has to be pretty versatile. They go from nothing but stacked up running the football to the run and shoot. Here we see it again. Twin receivers to the left and right. They move the tight ends out, and they put wide receivers on each side as well, and Buck is going to pass again. Looks into the left flat. Once again, it's Ray who did a nice job to get the feet in bounds, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
Again, complete.
So Coach Dan Cooper said, Dave Conrad rather says, the run's not working, let's go to the pass, and they've done that successfully 2 times in a row.
Well, I really don't know if this is the run and shoot, Adam, but I'll tell you what, it looks like a good old backyard touch football game. Looked like a little pass game here, or maybe even arena football, because Bedford come out throwing that football.
We'll see how they do here on second down and long. Pass in the flat is incomplete, and the one thing you have to wonder here, I mean, now it's third down. And so what that's going to create is maybe another opportunity in the first half for Evansville Harrison. And that's one thing you don't want. And also it creates an opportunity to better chances of a turnover and an interception. Buck is just a sophomore. Of course, we don't know what kind of numbers he's put up in the air this year, but you would have to believe it's going to be tough against a team like Evansville Harrison, who's seen it all, to maybe get an interception here. Same format we've seen the last couple of times. Grogan, the lone man in the backfield. Wide outs, both twin sets to the right and left, and we're going to see an interception. Red, the man who got it, he breaks free up the left sideline. He's got all kinds of running room. He might go for 6. And there's a flag, a clip. Red is going to be dragged down here. Maybe not. He's finally tackled, but there was a clip. And that clip helped to set him free.
By number 32, Jeremy Red. Stop is made by Bryce Bennett. We have a flag on the run back.
So there was a clip. And Evansville Harrison makes maybe what is their first mistake of the night with that penalty flag. But that was if he didn't make that block in the back, that he wouldn't have went that far. So a situation where the block ended up being the right call because he wouldn't have broken that play had there not been that illegal block. It was a 58-yard return that's going to be negated and brought back to the 35-yard line. And now only 40 seconds remain, and you have to wonder, is Evansville Harrison going to sit on it, or are they going to throw the ball and try to get another touchdown on the board? They already lead 35-0.
Well, one thing on that second down play by Bedford North Lawrence, number 31, Kevin Siskel for Harrison, got by with an obvious hold there on a wide receiver, and Harrison can't get anything but good breaks right now. No call there, and then the interception.
Here's another pass play. And we're going to see the interception return. Here comes Bedford North Lawrence. They've got room up the left sideline. Bringing it back this time all the way down inside Harrison territory to the 25-yard line. So it backfired. Jonathan Lighton picked it off, brought it back 54 yards. And that's almost a slap in the face to Harrison because they tried to go up top, put more points on the board, and Bedford able to intercept the pass.
Kaufman makes the tackle on the interception.
Lamar, that time. Keith Lander that time got a little out of control with that pass. He just kind of hung it up a little too high. Really didn't have much of a man out there, and it was intercepted. So here comes the offense. And it would appear that the passing offense is back in there. We saw Buck put the headsets on and talk to a coach up top here, so maybe they saw something here just to our left that we didn't see. Maybe they can be successful this time.
Well, an indication on the field here, Adam, is there's a timeout for the Bedford North Lawrence Stars, and I don't think their players know it. Coach Mitch Marsh is on the field for Harrison. Of course, during the timeout, he's allowed out there, but Bedford now relaxing, and I think they have now caught on to the fact that there is a timeout on the field, and the timeout was called by them, but I don't even think their quarterback's even over to the sideline. The quarterback's not over here, and the coach isn't on the field.
Here comes Buck now. Now he stays out on the field. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Bedford North Lawrence down 35-0. Tried to move the ball by way of the pass after they had ran the ball the whole game. Had the ball intercepted. Harrison brings it back, and on the first play from scrimmage, throw a deep pass that was intercepted and then brought back the other way. So now Bedford North Lawrence sets up shop. Man in motion. Will set up trip receivers to the right. Here comes a blitz. They throw it out in the right flat. Gary Ray, the man there, he fumbles and lost the ball. Who's going to get it? Ray picks it up, and he's going to advance it. And he's going to go down near the goal line. That was an unbelievable play. He lost the ball, went over and picked it up very nonchalantly and broke it down the right sideline.
Well, Adam, we don't have the once again the benefit of an instant replay, but just from our vantage point, I don't know how long he ever actually had possession of that football. He touched the ball, it hit the ground, and it's going to be immaterial now, as it looks like the Harrison High School Warriors heading for the locker room at halftime. But really a strange play here to close out the half.
It closes out the half, and a strange play, how fitting, because the first half was quite strange. Harrison, all but one time they touched the football, got themselves a touchdown. Our halftime score, Evansville Harrison 35, Bedford North Lawrence nothing. We're back after this timeout.
Success in life is the result of preparation and having the right tools. To become the person you've always wanted to be, select Nordic Flex Gold. You provide the effort, and Nordic Flex Gold provides the means to your personal success. You want to develop the poise, confidence, and energy that come from a strong, toned body. And like these people, you can have that body in just 12 weeks with Nordic Flex Gold. Some people spend a lifetime wishing for a great body. Now with Nordic Flex Gold, you can unlock your potential in as little as 12 weeks. Nordic Flex Gold features linear motion and a patented isokinetic resistance system, providing results faster and more efficiently than with other strength training systems. Now is the time to act. Great muscle tone, accelerated fat loss, increased energy, as well as poise and confidence can all be yours in just 12 weeks with Nordic Flex Gold. To order or for more information, call now.
There was a time I had trouble getting around. I had to depend on others to help me. Now it feels great to have independence with a rascal scooter from Electric Mobility.
If you or someone you know needs low-cost personal transportation, call this number for a free catalog on Rascal 3- and 4-wheel electric scooters. The Rascal is so easy to operate, you can control it with just one hand. Plus, your Rascal is portable with a unique take-apart frame. Take advantage of our money-saving offers, easy payment plan, free test ride, and see if you qualify for partial or, in some cases, full medical insurance reimbursement.
Call for a free catalog and to learn about our money-saving offers. You can even arrange a free, no-obligation test ride. Call toll-free 1-800-543-5200. 1-800-543-5200. Call now, 1-800-543-5200.
Well, you don't want to look too far ahead in the tournament, but it would appear that Evansville Harrison is on their way to round number 2. They are up 35-0 at halftime, a game they have dominated. They did turn the ball over one time on an interception late in the first half, but to that point, they had made no mistakes. They've done a great job. They've caused a couple of turnovers at the defensive end. They really, with the exception of one drive, have dominated this football game. Bill Barnett has totaled his statistics, and we'll be back with those after this word on the Tri-State Sports Network.
Success in life is the result of preparation and having the right tools. To become the person you've always wanted to be, select Nordic Flex Gold. You provide the effort, and Nordic Flex Gold provides the means to your personal success. You want to develop the poise, confidence, and energy that come from a strong, toned body. And like these people, you can have that body in just 12 weeks with Nordic Flex Gold. Some people spend a lifetime wishing for a great body. Now with Nordic Flex Gold, you can unlock your potential in as little as 12 weeks. Nordic Flex Gold features linear motion and a patented isokinetic resistance system, providing results faster and more efficiently than with other strength training systems. Now is the time to act. Great muscle tone, accelerated fat loss, increased energy, as well as poise and confidence can all be yours in just 12 weeks with Nordic Flex Gold. To order or for more information, call now.
Want an adjustable bed but don't think you can afford one? Then you haven't priced Craftmatic adjustable beds recently. This Craftmatic Model 2 bed costs 50% less than these quality flat beds. 50% less. And this Craftmatic Model 3 is just 50% of the Model 2's low cost. 50%. Craftmatic Model 3 and 2 beds adjust to all these healthful positions, provide optional heat and massage, and total body support, yet cost hundreds less than these quality flatbeds. Get our free catalog by mail, including information on Craftmatic 3s at 50% of Craftmatic 2's low cost.
Hi, we'd like your free catalog and 50% information by mail.
Certainly, sir.
It's easy. Call for this free catalog right away.
Call toll-free 1-800-647-6500. That's 1-800-647-6500. Call toll-free 1-800-647-6500.
Welcome back to Enlow Field, everyone. Along with Bill Barnett, I'm Adam Alexander. It's been a well-played first half for Evansville Harrison. On the other side, Bedford North Lawrence has struggled. Pretty much what we anticipated, Bill. Bedford comes out a little shocked defensively because Evansville Harrison has got a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the football.
Well, a lot of weapons, and the weapons are firing anything but blanks tonight. 251 total yards on the evening, and it's only the first half, Adam. I mean, Harrison has really executed well, and Keith Lander 5 for 7 for 158 yards. 13 first downs for the Harrison Warriors. You know, what more can we say about their offensive attack?
What do we do in the second half if you're Bedford North Lawrence? Then in the early part of the game, they did nothing but run the football. Late in the first half, they open it up, show 4 wide receivers, try to pass a little bit. You expect that in the second half, and probably no chance you can get back in the ball game, but maybe salvage something, build the kids' confidence going into next year.
I really don't know what to expect here, Adam. But I will say this, Brandon Buck, once they did start to throw the football, and they showed a double wideout formation with a couple of slots, and I think you referred to that really as a run-and-shoot formation. Why, Buck actually looked like he liked that. You know, he showed some confidence earlier in the football game when they did throw the ball out of the tight formation. He just kind of threw the ball, but it didn't look like he had a lot of enthusiasm for it. But once they went to that run-and-shoot look, why, he threw the ball well and had a nice spiral on the ball, and it just seemed as if his enthusiasm really radiated out there, but not quite enough, because Harrison has totally dominated this football game.
You know, it's been, as we said, a dominated ball game for the Warriors. A cold night at Enlow Field if we're dancing around. There's no doubt why. It's freezing out here. We'll have the second half kickoff coming up after you watch this on the Tri-State Sports Network.
Success in life is the result of preparation and having the right tools. To become the person you always wanted to be, select Nordic Flex Gold. You provide the effort, and Nordic Flex Gold provides the means to your personal success. You want to develop the poise, confidence, and energy that come from a strong, toned body. And like these people, you can have that body in just 12 weeks with Nordic Flex Gold. Some people spend a lifetime wishing for a great body. Now with Nordic Flex Gold, you can unlock your potential in as little as 12 weeks. Nordic Flex Gold features linear motion and a patented isokinetic resistance system, providing results faster and more efficiently than with other strength training systems. Now is the time to act. Great muscle tone, accelerated fat loss, increased energy, as well as poise and confidence can all be yours in just 12 weeks with Nordic Flex Gold. To order or for more information, call now.
Want an adjustable bed but don't think you can afford one? Then you haven't priced Craftmatic adjustable beds recently. This Craftmatic Model 2 bed costs 50% less than these quality flatbeds. 50% less. And this Craftmatic Model 3 is just 50% of the Model 2's low cost. 50%. Craftmatic Model 3 and 2 beds adjust to all these healthful positions, provide optional heat and massage, and total body support, yet cost hundreds less than these quality flatbeds. Get our free catalog by mail, including information on Craftmatic 3s at 50% of Craftmatic 2's low cost.
Hi, we'd like your free catalog and 50% information by mail.
Certainly, sir.
It's easy. Call for this free catalog right away.
Call toll-free 1-800-647-6500. That's 1-800-647-6500. Call toll-free 1-800-647-6500.
What?
At Princeton in the second quarter, Memorial 7, Princeton 7. The winner of tonight's game between Bedford, North Lawrence, and Harrison will play the winner of Castle and Floyd Central.
Welcome back now to Enlow Field on the south side of Evansville, where at halftime our score is Evansville Harrison 35, Bedford North Lawrence nothing, and it would appear that Evansville Harrison is on their way to the second round of the sectionals. Along with Bill Barnett, I'm Adam Alexander, and it's, as we alluded to a little bit earlier, Bill, it is a chilly night out here, and Evansville Harrison pretty much dominating that first half.
Well, it is really cool. I would guess that temperature now to be down in the low 40s, and by the end of this football game, it may be even dipping down into the high 30s. But the another thing is a lot of moisture in the air, and it has come into play in the game, as we know that the sidelines, particularly the grassy areas of the field, are a little bit slick from the accumulation of, I guess we'd still call it dew in the evening, wouldn't we, Adam?
I believe so.
But anyway, there is moisture on the grass, so if you see any runners that in making their cuts slip and go to the ground, well, you know that they've probably gotten a little moisture. And as a matter of fact, on that one pass by Keith Lander that was intercepted, some of our camera personnel down there on the sidelines mentioned that the wide receiver, that pass, from our vantage point, it looked as if Keith Lander kind of just put it up in the air, but there was an observation down on the sideline that the receiver actually turned the wrong way and got tangled up a little bit, and so consequently the pass maybe made Keith Lander look a little bad, but it was actually a little bit of a mix-up between he and the receiver, and you know, those things happen, and they're going to happen a little more in high school football than in college or professional, but nevertheless, an outstanding first-half performance here by Harrison High School, and looks like we're about ready for second half action.
Well, Bedford North Lawrence will kick off to begin this second half, and I'm sure Coach Mitch Marsh doesn't want his troops to quit, even though they're up 35-0. You want to take good momentum into next week.
Well, you alluded to something. I just pointed at you to make a comment, and you alluded to something that's been in my mind about this football game. Now, Harrison obviously in control of this contest at 35-0, but Adam, is this really the type of game you want in playoff competition to prepare you for week 2?
Well, and the thing is, Bill, is that next week's going to be a contest because Floyd Central and Castle, both a pair of similar teams, and Castle, a team that gave Evansville Harrison in the regular season everything they wanted. So it is a situation where they're across town battling, at least it would appear, and here tonight, a blowout win for Evansville Harrison at this point, and so you have to wonder. Check out the way they've got the ball teed up. Getting ready to kick off is Lambrick, and he will tee it up with not the nose of the ball down, but the ball is flat, so maybe we'll see something odd here to start the second half. He does do somewhat of an onside kick, but it's picked up and gathered in, and here comes Evansville Harrison on the run back to about the 46-yard line. A return of about 9 yards. Lambrick that time teed it up a little funny, but able to get a decent kick away, and it was returned. Of course, that probably is the method that they use. Sometimes when you don't have a guy who can kick it deep, you just try to squib it through the middle, and that's what appeared to have happened there.
On the 46-yard line.
And indeed, as we talked about, we will see some new faces in the second half, a different quarterback in for Evansville Harrison. So our job gets funner now, get to learn new names and put them with new numbers. And here's the give up the middle. Different people, same result. Breaking it over the left side and carrying for a long gain is Dominic Kilpatrick, Kilpatrick with a carry over the left side. The new quarterback in the ball game for Evansville Harrison is Andy Boast. So we'll see how he does. A big gain there to open half number 2, despite a different outlook from different players.
Stopped by J.J.
A 23-yard pickup for Kilpatrick, who leads the ball game, and a pair of new faces back there now. Arterberry is the running back up front, and he gets the carry across the middle. Not much yardage. The deep man that time was David Hildreth. So it would appear that things are not going to change as they got a new set of people out there for Evansville Harrison, but they've still been able to move the ball. We'll see how it affects their offense.
Well, some good signs for the future here, Andy. The quarterback, number 12, Andy Boast, sophomore. Young man that broke out the 23-yard carry, Dominic Kilpatrick, also a sophomore.
We'll see what happens here. They give this time over the right side and getting room out near first down yardage. That time running the ball is Hildreth. David Hildreth with a carry over the right side.
David Hildreth on the carry.
He is going to be short of a first down. It's going to set up about a 3rd down and 5. So what was a real high-scoring first half will probably slow down here in the second half with this second group of players in. As Bill mentioned, a lot of sophomores out there.
5 yards to go. The ball's on the 29-yard.
You just hope they keep the ball on the ground because a game like this sometimes can tend to get long. Hildreth once again the ball carrier, and he's got room down inside the 25-yard line. And close to first down yardage, but he will be short, and it will set up 4th down and about 2.
Also notice another sophomore out here split wide left. Number 24, DeMarco Moss, split wide to the left. He's a 5'6", 145-pound sophomore. So a lot of young kids here opening up offensively here in the second half for the Harrison Warriors.
And now I believe a timeout is called. Apparently some equipment needing to be tended to. David Hildreth did not have the chin strap done correctly, so they will take, in fact, his shoulder pads were hanging out of his jersey there. So they take care of that, and once again, the officials wind the clock, and we're underway in third quarter action. Andy Boast, the new quarterback, gives this time up the middle and carrying down near first down yardage, and a flag comes in.
Kilpatrick carries for the Warriors.
Kilpatrick, who had a 23-yard to begin the 23-yard run to begin the second half, carries here again near first down yardage, and a face mask is called against Bedford North Lawrence. So that will indeed be first down yardage for Evansville Harrison, and they continue to move the ball well. Evansville Harrison at 8-0, the city champs in Evansville.
Personal foul.
But Evansville Harrison, a team who went unbeaten, that very easily could have lost some games. And so So many times teams come out 500 and they say, you know, but we could have won this game, we could have won that game, and we could be above 500 or maybe close to being unbeaten. Evansville Harrison the other way around. They were able to win all their games, but some of them very close and sometimes left in question even down to the last few minutes of the ball game. So Evansville Harrison, a team who, even though they're unbeaten, has experienced some trouble throughout the season.
David Hildreth on the carry.
Well, contrast that with the performance of Bedford North Lawrence, Adam, because we mentioned earlier that counting tonight's football game in first quarter action on the year, they've been outscored 84-6, and also including tonight's first half, we could make it in first half action 175-33. So I say it would be somewhat of an understatement to say that BNL has just not really been in very many football games this year.
Here's the give over the left side, running room outside, and finally being brought down. I didn't get the number there, so we'll wait and see as they unpile.
Adam, that was number 20, John Favor. I guess as we check our rosters, Favor, 5'9", 148-pound junior, so underclassmen dominating play here for the Warriors early here in second half action, and a nice gesture, and I think a very wise gesture on the part of Coach Mitch Marsh to keep the starters over there and keep them healthy for next week.
It'll be 3rd down and 7 from about the 15-yard line, just inside the 15, and we'll see what they do here. Maybe they'll elect to pass, give Andy Both a chance, and they won't as they give over the right side again. So Boast once again giving off to a running play. He has not thrown the ball yet, and you would have to anticipate that he will not throw the ball with a 35-point lead, but they will go for it on 4th down, and about a 4th down and a 5 situation. Got the ball at about the 13-yard line.
4th down and 4 yards to go. The ball's on the 7-yard line.
The ball is spotted at the 7-yard line, so even if Evansville Harrison doesn't get in here, the younger guys have been able to take Bedford North Lawrence out of good field position. Here's a run down near the goal line, and in for the score is Kilpatrick. Dominic Kilpatrick hit the hole over the left side. He's in for a touchdown, and it's now a 41-0 game. Well, I guess if you're an Evansville Harrison fan, it's nice to see the younger guys get the action and do a nice job. If you're a Bedford North Lawrence fan, you have to wonder, will they ever quit? Once again, in to try the extra point. He had 3 good ones late in the first half, and we'll see what he does here. Zachary Hamby will do the kicking. Here it is. The ball is spotted. The kick is up, and Hamby stays perfect on the night.
Extra point attempt by Zach Hamby.
You know, Adam, that's his 3rd extra point attempt on the evening, I believe, 3rd or 4th, but on the first touchdown of the football game by Harrison, they had a straight-on kicker attempting that extra point. Hamby wasn't on the field, and he's obviously a strong kicker. I wonder where he was during that first point after touchdown.
Well, I think in games past that Craig Stewart, who is the man who kicks off and is the man who tried that extra point, is normally their man. And he, you know, I wonder if Hamby just hasn't come on maybe at the JV level, and now that the JV season has ended, maybe he's come on at the varsity level, because
you see me shaking my head no. The reason I say no is I believe here I'm looking for Hamby's number. He's number 19. He's a 5'10 senior, so I don't think he was probably on the JV team, and he's a strong kicker. So maybe it's just his evening. There might have been a strain out of their regular kicker, but it's Hamby's evening, and he's looked good on those PATs.
He has done a nice job, and he's obviously not had much pressure on him because the game has not been on the line. He's been kicking since they were up 20-0, and that was in the first quarter. So been a pretty good game. A nice hit there on the run back.
Right on the return.
The run back carries 10 yards for Chris Wright, making a nice stop.
Made by Chris Atterbury and David Hildreth.
Atterbury, and he did a nice job that time making a big hit. Well, with coming in, the second teamers on defense as well, and you have to wonder now how Evansville Harrison will handle things on that defensive side, because so many times you see a team come out with a different offense and they're still able to move the ball, but on the defensive side, sometimes they can't. So we'll wait and see here just how this second team reacts defensively for Evansville Harrison. Grogan the carry up the middle, and once again back to the running set, and Grogan with not much running room there. In fact, he might not have picked up more than getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Grogan's 18th carry on the evening for 49 yards, so that statistic would certainly demonstrate that Grogan, being the workhorse ball carrier for Bedford North Lawrence, has really, you got to credit the young man with a lot of hard work, but he simply has not had the holes to move the football.
It's now a 42-0 ball game. Bedford North Lawrence to the pass, and here they go into the flat, and the man there with a catch will be short of the first down, but he makes the grab anyhow, and it's Tim Van Meter who picks it up, a 5'8" junior.
Pass is complete to Gary Ray.
So Brandon Buck makes the completion, and apparently, I don't know who they had catching the ball. I had Tim Van Meter. Is that who you had, 23?
Yes, that was Tim Van Meter, 5'8", 140-pound junior. Caught the football. Nice little diving catch here on the sideline.
Here comes the option for the first time. Buck options it out to the back, and running room there for Chris Wright as he breaks it across midfield and down inside the 45-yard line. So the first time tonight the Stars have went to the option, and Buck did a nice job. He drew the defense, he optioned the right man, and got it out for a 21-yard gain. First down and 10 for Bedford North Lawrence, and that's the first time we've seen this second-team defense break down for Evansville Harrison. So maybe Bedford North Lawrence can do something here to put some points on the board as we near the 5-minute mark to play here in the third quarter.
43-yard line.
Bedford North Lawrence once again splitting wide receivers each way, and Buck this time will pass. Looks down the left side. He's got a man. He airs it out and just overshot him.
Brandon Buck's pass intended for
Gary Ray, the man who was the intended receiver. They had him down around the 10-yard line, but Buck that time just a little bit too strong with a pass.
Well, Adam, on that previous play, on the option play to the left side, Brandon Buck executed extremely well. He ran right directly at, I believe, the right defensive end or the right linebacker for Harrison. And right at the last moment when that player committed themselves to Buck, he pitched that ball outside to Chris Wright, and Wright was gone for a real nice, what do we say, 21, 23-yard carry there.
Here's the play again, and this time stacked up right at the middle. Grogan once again the carrier, and he has not been the center of attention here in the second half. He's had a lot of trouble carrying the football. Set up a third down and 10 after the first down pass play was overshot. The second down run play doesn't work, and it's a third down and long situation. He picked up about a foot, so it'll be third down, 9 yards and about 2 feet. The Evansville Harrison young kids in here in the second half. They've already put a touchdown on the board, and we'll see what they do. Here we go, optioning the other way. This time, Buck keeps it, and he scrambles forward. He's got another first down, and he's down to the 25-yard line, and I believe they'll tack another 15 on because of a face mask. A pickup that time of 18 yards, and indeed a face mask has been the signal. So it will be against Evansville Harrison, and that'll tack on another 15 yards, I believe, from the spot of the penalty.
Half the distance here, Adam. We're inside the 30, so I think you're going to see that ball move from the 25-yard line down to about the 12.5, or if that flag on the 26 was indicative of where the penalty did occur, why, it looks like the ball, you make the call. Call it the 12.5. We could call it the 13, but it's inside the 15-yard line, and first down for Bedford North Lawrence.
And it would appear they've got the Hogs back in. Double tight end set as they put a pair of runners in the backfield, a pair of big kids. Grogan, one of them, and he gets the carry this time. Over the right side, he busts free, and he's down inside the 3-yard line. He's a little short of the goal line. But nonetheless, a nice hole there. And so Bedford North Lawrence trying to get on the board for the first time tonight, and they've done a nice job sustaining this drive. And the young defense of Evansville Harrison has helped them out a little bit with a couple of mental lapses, as well as that penalty we saw just a moment ago. Quickly out of the huddle. Buck brings him out. We'll see what happens here. Look for Grogan, and he does get it, and he is going to race in for the score, nearly untouched. So the Bedford North Lawrence fans finally have something to cheer about after a night had been completely bleak. They are finally on the board at the 3:41 mark in the third quarter. Obviously not much of a chance they're going to get back in the ball game, but at least they did put a score on the board. And now some problems with personnel is not sure who's supposed to be out there, and a key guy that wasn't out there was the long snapper. That could hurt a extra point team. He comes in, does a nice job. The hold is down, the kick is up, and it's a 42-7 ball game. So it's 42-7 now, Evansville Harrison. I don't think Coach Mitch Marsh is going to be too upset with that score. He did have his second unit out there defensively.
Well, Adam, what a wonderful opportunity for the young kids here for Harrison Warriors to get very valuable experience. I think anyone listening in here to our broadcast, or yourself or myself, we can look back on our athletic career. I was going to say look back on our youth, but Adam, you're still not too far away from that youth mark. Mine was some 30-some years ago or something, but nevertheless, everyone remembers back to their first football or their first basketball or baseball action as a varsity competitor, and what a magical moment it is, and very valuable experience that these young Harrison Warriors can carry over to next year when really they're going to have to put a lot of the responsibility for Warrior success on their own shoulders. So really invaluable experience being gained here that the benefits will be reaped down the road.
Just 3 years ago, I was on a high school football field, so I am what some would call a young pup, but now trying to make a living in the broadcast booth, where the pay is low, but the job is fun. And here's a carry back out near the 35-yard line.
Red returns the kickoff.
Evansville Harrison, a team who dominated from the get-go, led 14-0. Bedford North Lawrence put on a drive that was halted due to a loss of downs, and that is when Evansville Harrison really reaped the front door wide open, scoring 3 more touchdowns before the first half ended. They led it 35-0. They took the opening kickoff the second half and took it about 53 yards for a touchdown. Gave up a touchdown on the next series, which you just saw, and now Evansville Harrison with the football again. I'm sure in the back of their mind, the seniors and the older guys, the guys who do the bulk of the playing, are on the sideline wondering who their opponent will be next week and wondering what it will take to beat them. And on the Bedford North Lawrence sideline, I'm sure a long bus ride in the back of their mind.
Well, another thing here, Adam, we saw the Castle Scouts down there tonight, and if they didn't get what they needed in the first half, why this second half action, watching these young kids play for Harrison, is certainly not going to help them to prepare for next week.
Hildreth the carry that time over the right side, out near a first down. And now we don't see the Castle Scouts anymore. They have left and obviously seen what they wanted to see, and plenty of it in that first half.
I don't really think they saw what they wanted to see here, Adam. I think they saw a lot that they didn't want to see.
Well, one thing, it's hard to scout a team, and they talked that they would get tapes throughout the week, and they said, there's a big hit. And let's put some credit right there. A younger kid in the ballgame for Evansville Harrison, and Hildreth that time lit up by Nathan Woodward. I mean, he came through like a runaway truck and leveled Hildreth. And when it's a cold like tonight, that'll jar the insides of a kid real quickly. On a night where the temperatures are in the 30s, you feel a hit like that about 10 times more than what you do on a night when temperatures are warm. And I'll tell you, I can testify to that because I've been lit up good a couple times in my football career, which didn't last long.
And its punt goes out of bounds. Bedford North Lawrence will take over 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line.
So once again, Bedford North Lawrence will get a crack at it here. They will take over down around their own 35-yard line. Bedford, a team who scored on their last possession, trying to put some more scores on the board. Salvage what has been a lonely night here at Enlow Field, and a night where I'm sure they would like to forget very quickly. You got to like these Bedford North Lawrence fans, though. They come a long way to cheer on a team who has not been successful, but they haven't quit cheering. And here's running over the right side. Breaking away and down across midfield to the 35-yard line, Michael Stoltz. A nice carry that time, and Stoltz with a big gain down inside the 45-yard line.
And A.J. Fox.
So Bedford North Lawrence putting some scores on the board and trying to put another one on here. They've done a nice job.
Who was the ball carrier that time for the Stars, Adam?
Michael Stoltz, number 32, carried the ball, I believe. That's who I said carried. And now Harrison jumps offside. So encroachment on the defense will tack on 5 more yards. And Bedford North Lawrence beginning to gain a little momentum, although at this point you would have to believe that this game is over for all purposes. But they are, in fact, moving the ball, and you don't want to leave with a bad taste in your mouth, so maybe they can leave feeling like they did gain a little momentum at least against a team who is ranked number 4 in the state and has went all year unbeaten.
That's only the first penalty this evening against Harrison. Their first penalty for only 5 yards on the evening.
So it'll be first down and 5 from the 40-yard line. Buck going to pass. Good protection. Goes down the left sideline. There's Gary Ray. He's got the catch. Touchdown. Ray with an outstanding job adjusting to the pass that was to his outside. A nicely thrown ball by Brandon Buck. Picks up 41 yards and another touchdown. And Bedford North Lawrence, although they're probably not going to get back in the game, has done a nice job moving the football here in the second half.
Well, you know, that number 3 out there on that particular play, Adam, Gary Ray, just made a beautiful job of adjusting to that ball. He was looking over his right shoulder, and as that ball was approaching, he had to shift back to the left and made a wonderful catch.
The extra point is good in what was a 42-0 ball game and looked to be a runaway. Bedford North Lawrence is trying to salvage some time here. It's 42-14 now. Under a minute to play in the third quarter.
Now let's coach a little bit here, Adam. It's 42-14. Obviously, Harrison very, very much in control still in this game. But how close do you let Bedford North Lawrence get before you put the starters back on the field?
You don't do it because, in my opinion, Bill, yeah, they've gotten some momentum, but in 12 minutes of play in the second quarter, they've scored 2 touchdowns. So that's 14 points. Even if they score 3 in the fourth quarter, they're still... they're still down by a touchdown, and you have to believe that Evansville Harrison's got some capability to put another one on the board. So I don't think you're going to see Evansville Harrison change the way their personnel goes unless they do begin to turn the ball over or make some dramatic mistakes.
I think, again, we're coaching up here in the booth, and we should maybe just be describing what we're seeing here on the field. But personally, I think I'd maybe let Bedford have one more score before I'd bring those starters, but I don't think I'd give them 2.
I'd give them 2, and you're still up 2 touchdowns. And I would say with the way time's going, Bedford probably not going to put scores on the board very quickly. They've had some things that have really helped them here at this point. Evansville Harrison breaks this kickoff back across the 30-yard line. Hey, that's where they will set up shop. As we near the end of the third quarter, it's a 42-14 ball game, and in case you're just joining us, it was 35-0 at halftime, 42-0 after about 3 or 4 minutes had gone by in the second half, and then Bedford North Lawrence has answered with a pair of touchdowns to make it 42-14. Sean Bennett had the return for 13 yards, and he is a guy who has carried the load as one of their studs.